Hi, welcome to MediatorPodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things mediation, negotiation, and collaboration. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I provide online valuation, divorce, and mediation services in St. Louis, Missouri. In this week's episode, we will discuss family mediation, a unique way to get divorced, with Daryl Weinman. She is a family law attorney and mediator in Austin, Texas. Daryl has been board certified in family law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization since 2000, an honor granted to less than 1% of Texas attorneys. She's also part of the Austin Bar Association in the Alternative Dispute Resolution section and the Texas Family Law Foundation. Another interesting thing is she's a member of American Academy of Certified Financial Litigators. A lot of times I see kind of a couple central themes in divorce or mediation or litigation is there's communication issues that I think sometimes can be helped during mediation. Do you ever kind of see how people, even in caucus or even in some of these situations, do you see how they start to communicate differently at all?
Yeah. And so as the mediator, a lot of times I will try to explain to them that the reason I keep them in separate rooms is because they've been doing this already for years, where they're talking at, they're talking at each other. They don't get the other's perspective. And what I try to explain, especially because in Austin, we have a very high tech section. We also have because we have music, we have a lot of arts people. So we have a lot of, the math people and the feelings people who get together. They tend to, opposites attract, and they can make that work in a marriage for a while. But when they're getting divorced, they don't see things the same way. And, the engineer will come in with all the spreadsheets and, I'll be sexist about it, but he'll come in with all his spreadsheets and he's got every last penny down to, all the details. And this is what's fair. This is the division that's fair. And if I take those spreadsheets into the artist's room, she's going to totally gloss over and go, but I give up my career and I raise the kids and this isn't fair. And she's not going to look at spreadsheets. That doesn't mean anything to her. And of course, he's very scientific and like, well, of course, this makes sense. Why doesn't she understand that? And so if I can kind of give both of them a little bit of perspective, and I do keep it confidential from both rooms. Like I don't report on what one side is telling me and the other, but to give them a little perspective of like, can you understand how she might see it differently? And maybe, you can understand how he's coming at this from a scientific. And I think that does help them because when they leave, because especially if they have kids together, they're going to have to communicate in the future. So to at least give them a little bit of perspective that he doesn't see things the way you do. And she doesn't see, sometimes they've been to counseling. Sometimes they've learned a little bit about that. I don't know how much absorbs because they're so emotional about, are we going to save the marriage or not?
Right.
But yeah, to give them that opportunity and I just let them vent to me. Like I will usually let the first part of the mediation be vent whatever you feel like you need to say, because I don't feel like either of them have felt heard yet. So go right ahead. And then after we've been through and you know what else he did? I'm like, okay, now we're going to focus on the future. How are we going to make this work going forward? Like this is important information that you learned through all these years together. And we'll use that to craft something for the future. But, we can't dwell on that. We can't change it. Can't fix it.